Lunch and Learn is an MFG radio network production brought to you by GIE Media's Manufacturing Group. We highlight some of the latest innovations in manufacturing and design to help you gain insights to the newest products and technologies in the medical, aerospace, defense, and electric vehicle manufacturing industries to keep you ahead of the competition. Hello and welcome to our final Manufacturing Lunch and Learn of 2025 from GIE Media's Manufacturing Group. I'm Jake Kaufman, Senior Editor, and we're glad to be joined today by Lang Technik. Lang Technik is one of the world's leading companies in the world of work holding and automation technology, which helps machining companies with future-oriented solutions to simplify production processes, to manufacture more efficiently, and ideally exploit production capacities. Today's presentation, Your Simple Gripping Future into Automation with Brian Butler and Michael Gamachet from the Metalcraft Automation Group facility in New Berlin, Wisconsin. As a regional manager at Lang Technik, Brian Butler provides innovative modular work holding and automation solutions for 3, 4, and 5-axis machining centers to clients in 6 states. Butler has more than 15 years of experience in the work holding industry, from design and R&D to process engineering and programming. Also joining him is the former owner of Gamachet Systems, Michael Gamachet, successfully partnered with Lang Technik to introduce the innovative Robotrex CNC machine tending automation systems to the United States market. Now, as part of Metalcraft Automation Group, Michael leverages his specialized knowledge to help machine shops address skilled labor shortages through efficient automation solutions like Robotrex. I would like to hand things over to Mike and Brian now. So, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you, Jake.
Well, thanks everybody for joining Jake and Brian and I today.
Yep. Thank you.
We are, again, Mike Gamachet, Brian Butler, and we're going to talk about automation, some of the trends in the market with robot usage worldwide, and then get into some applications where, automation can be used, and then how to get started with that. So, why automation now? What are the benefits of automation? What should you automate? And where do you start? So those are big questions that we can hopefully help answer today.
Correct. Yep. So why automation now? And this is what we wanted to look at and kind of address and present to everybody, the direction that the world is going right now. So in 2014, there were 220,000 robots manufactured globally, worldwide. Here in the US in 2014, we ended up being 12% of the total global population of robots at 26,000. And China is a great comparison for us, because China was at about 57,000. Which they were 26% of the global market.
Global use of deployed robots worldwide. So
yes.
They were already kicking our butts back in 2014, right?
Exactly. Yeah. But if you look at the numbers, we're not that far away. So we're about 50% of what they were in 2014. But
fast forward
to last year. Last year, the U.S. installed 34,000 robots. We only increased that number over the last 10 years by 12,000 robots.
6%.
Which we ended up being 6% of the global market for robots deployed. Total robots deployed in 2024 is 542,000 robots. And China ended up doing 295,000 robots.
That's 54% of all the robots worldwide. And therefore, we have some catching up to do. The projections for 2030 looks like we're going to be up to about 180,000 robots deployed in the United States per year, which is a 529% increase. And that's why we got to get started now. Where China is also going to go up to 649,000. Now, we understand that there's only going to be 1 million robots available in the marketplace by 2030 per year. Just the capacity of making robots is about 1 million a year. And what we want to do is, I mean, that's 64%, 65% going to
65%.
China, and we're about 18% of that. So let's see if we can maybe put a dent in those numbers and turn that around between now and 2030.
Right.
So what should you automate? I've been doing robotics and automation special machines for 25 years now, and it really needs to start with a proven process. If you're doing it manually today and it's something that is, an operator waiting on time, a repetitive task, big, heavy, hard to handle parts, manual processes are going to introduce quality defects, and people aren't going to want those dull, dangerous, difficult, dirty jobs. But I'm telling you is if it's not already a process that you can point out and say, let's get a robot doing that, it's going to be very hard to just get a robot to invent some kind of process. That's not what automation is for. And automation is to take a proven process from manual to automation or semi-automation, whatever that looks like.
Yes,
right?
definitely. 100%.
Some examples: machine loading and unloading. And we're going to talk about that a little bit coming up with CNC machine tending, because Lang is big into CNC machine work holding.
That's what we do.
Their systems are very automated.
Yes.
And we do the automation side in the US for Lang, which is fantastic. Welding. Here at Metalcraft, we do a lot of welding automation internally for our parent company, Metalcraft of Mayville. So welding, grinding, drilling, all things that are hard on operators, right? You got fastening system, screw driving, things that can, hurt the operators, injuries, repetitive injury, motion injuries, type of things. Assembly, material handling is kind of an easy one. If you can put it on a pallet, packaging and palletizing, where you're not lifting boxes. There's a lot of great automation out there for those types of processes.
And all of those processes, like Mike stated before, are proven processes that are fully automated now.
Yeah, so we've done it. And here's some examples of what we've done at Metalcraft.
Kind of like the fact that we kind of ended there on Lang's Robotrex right there. So, and that's kind of where Lang is what we are is we're a CNC milling machine tending automation system. So we've revolutionized the way you think about automating your CNC machines now. With Lang, we are able to increase the amount of pallets, which is a pallet system.
Lang is 90+% automated over in Germany, making all the Lang products. And then we introduced Robotrex to the United States probably 8 years ago. And it's been a little slow growth, but we're getting some systems out there that for the Robotrex, the Lang Robotrex made by Metalcraft here in the United States. It's a great example where we have customers that are seeing 600% increases in productivity, where machines were running maybe 4-6 hours a day, now running 22 to 24 hours a day, 24/7. So
that spindle on time efficiency is key. When you're only 25 to 40% spindle on time efficient, and then you can jump that number up to 80 and 90, you're able to double the amount of throughput throughout your manufacturing facility without adding any extra labor or any extra money to it other than the automation system itself.
And there's a difference between a pre-engineered solution and a custom engineered solution. Robotrex being pre-engineered, there's a lot of really good other systems out there. Robotrex fills a particular niche where if the parts fit in the vise, it's a really great system where there's zero changeover. Up to 68 parts in queue. So if you have parts that are 5 minutes, you're still getting 17 hours worth of automation to take care of second and third shift. And I'm telling you, our customers are seeing huge benefits with fast paybacks. 2 years, forget about it. It's not 2 years. It's not even a year. It's
less than a year
to get a system that's installed in 1 week. And it really starts with some of the technologies that Lang developed to help with the automation. Again, a proven process, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about their process.
Yeah, and everything that Lang designed, we designed for ourselves. We designed for our own self, our own use. And what Lang does is we use a very unique but revolutionary way of holding on to the raw material. And what you're seeing in this slide here is our stamping press. And what we're doing in this, if you're looking at the right picture, we are preforming the female version of our serrations, the male serrations that are in our jaws. So there's a true interference fit when our jaws clamp onto that raw material.
So anybody out there that's dovetailing, this is a 3-second process versus using a machine to create a non-value add or a non-value added feature just for holding onto the parts.
Just for holding on.
It could take 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So again, it's a systematic approach to higher productivity, not just the automation, but everything around it too as well.
100%, Mike. And as a process engineer, I look at you're either +1 or you're -1. There's no 0 when it comes to machining. So you're either doing value-added machining or you're doing non-value-added machining in a +1, -1. Anytime you're cutting in a dovetail, and there are times and parts where it's necessary to use a dovetail. But if there's a way to not, this right here will do 95% of everything that you want by eliminating that whole entire non-value added process.
And really what you're doing is you're stamping that material to fit into the vices to get you a much nicer grip, right? So a stronger holding forces, the way that you're eliminating vibration. So you're able to speed up your machines, get even more cutting, more savings by faster cycle times. Speeds and feeds. You've got customers that are companies that are making machine tools or the tooling itself and using Lang vices to test how hard they can pound those machines, pound those tools. And it's the holding forces and the
and that's another thing that you're able to, by automating processes like this with Lang, some of our customers see a significant increase in their carbide life, so a decrease in carbide consumption. And that right there can be very valuable to a lot of customers because carbide isn't cheap nowadays.
And, and the automation side of it is, are you going to have your operators that are going to show up on a regular basis? You've got a labor gap, where there's millennials are coming into the workforce, but you have more baby boomers leaving the workforce. So that whole automation growth is not just, let's see if it's going to work for us. It's a necessity nowadays that people need to start getting into. And in a machine shop, if you're a machine shop owner out there, I mean, more spindle on time is really what's going to make you more money. And
and kind of touch on Mike's point there about labor, with the baby boomers retiring and the millennials coming in at a slower pace than the amount of retirees. China's one-child policy that they had for the previous like 5 decades has really came and bit them in the ass. And they saw that 20 years ago. So that's where the investment that China had in automation, which is why you see China projected to control 65% of the market of robots by 2030. And in that time frame, they've lost 350 million people in their workforce. And they're still increasing their productivity. Their annual productivity is increasing by an average of 5% every year. That's impressive. And that's all due to automation.
So again, getting back to, we'll get off the commercial side of things, but getting back to where to get started in automation. Again, we talked about proven processes, but you have to really be able to gather the data to drive your decision-making process within your company, right? You're looking at your processes that you want to automate, but you're going to find those bottlenecks. And a good place to start is always at the shipping dock, because if you make something faster upstream, it's just going to sit at the bottleneck anyway. So starting at the shipping dock, your goal is to get more out of your facility. So go upstream to the first place where WIP is, piling up, and start with, look at those non-value added activities. Use lean to fix it, right? Do what you can before you start to incorporate automation or move right towards a big expense. Do what you can, because you're going to get some incremental improvements. But then at that point, if you haven't already met your goals, now you say, okay, this is somewhere where we should either add another machine or automate the machine that we have, or do something to get more out the door to fulfill orders and to make customers happy, right? That's the goal. And then it's a decision of, can you buy, or do you have to make something? So it's a make or buy decision.
And this is a good opportunity to actually reach out and consult with somebody that's outside of your facility, because when you're stuck in a box, you don't know what you don't know. So other people's experience and other people's knowledge can really help this process and help move you along and guide you in the right direction for your automation.
We're going to talk a little bit more about the make or buy decision, but once you've kind of made that decision, you need to get everybody on board. It's a culture thing. It's a teamwork towards continuous improvement. So, I mean, a lot of companies are moving that way already, and that's very important. But we need to get them from the continuous improvement of lean and those things into more of the automation, because you're going to see not just incremental changes in productivity, you're going to see gigantic, huge incremental.
Especially with those numbers we showed before, with the U.S. projected to increase our robots annually by 529% by the year 2030. That's pretty ridiculous.
So make or buy. Do you have the time, resources, and talent to design and build a solid solution internally? And what I mean by solid solution is, you're going to spend money. You want the most return on your investment. And again, if you can find something that's pre-engineered, that's already been proven, you're going to spend less on the engineering time. It may cost a little bit more upfront. But the benefits, you're going to see them faster. And you're going to see better results with a greater return on investment in the long run. And that's what you're really after. If I said, hey, I'm going to buy a system that's $200,000 or $20,000, but the $200,000 has a 1-year payback and the $20,000 system has a 1-year payback, I'm going to buy the $200,000 system, because they're both getting paid back in a year. So I had my money back, but now I'm making $200,000 per year versus a return on investment of 20. So better money spent up front is what you're looking for in a pre-engineered solution. Or again, taking just CNCs are automation, going from manual, or taking a 3-axis vertical mill and making it a 5-axis.
Right. And when I talk to customers that I go into and we're looking at helping their process of machining, I like changing the raw material out of the vise, external of the machine, and then
Machine time.
all you're doing is exchanging the vise once that machine is, once you have that M30. So M30, door opens, unlock the vise, pull the vise out, put the next vise in that's already preloaded. Your operator tends to be more engaged in what they're doing. It also eliminates certain degrees of variability in the machining process. But just by doing that with our automation system, you've already proven concept for automation, because that's exactly all we do for automating a milling machine.
So I guess thank you for tuning in, and we'll open it up to some questions. And I think I'm going to stop sharing.
Yep. Yeah, thank you guys very much. I appreciate the opportunity to be here on this cold December day here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So
Awesome. Well, yeah, I know, gentlemen, just from my side of things, a question that I have is obviously whenever I think of automation, I always think of the automotive industry, but what's kind of like that next, industry that's really kind of embraced it that you guys have seen?
Well, obviously, machine tending. I mean,
Yes.
machine shops are behind right now. Any type of fabricating, you've got your welding is a good example of where people are. There's pre-engineered solutions that are available on the market, right?
Yes.
For welding, for material handling, packaging, machine tending is definitely a big one that we're being drawn into more and more. Aerospace, we've got a lot of military, medical, a lot of growth in the machine shop area for sure.
Yes. And to piggyback on the CNC machines, most every CNC machine that's sold nowadays, I'd say probably close to 50%, but don't quote me on that. I don't know the actual numbers, is actually sold with an automation solution attached to it already. So whether it's a pallet changer or a cobot or something like that, it's pretty impressive, because we're starting to see now, because everybody's having a hard time. They're having the same problems everywhere of finding talent and getting them to show up every day. And that's where a robot can really, if all they're doing is just loading and unloading, your talent, your smart talent that you currently have can be better used somewhere else rather than standing at that machine.
Right.
So
awesome. So we do have a few more questions coming in. Richard wants to know, what would an American industrial policy look like from your guys' end?
Say that one more time.
What would an American industrial policy look like on your guys' end?
An industrial policy.
Oh, policy. I like that.
Well, the tariffs, I guess, is a big buzzword nowadays, and buying machines from overseas, bringing them in. A lot of robots are made in Japan, in other places in the world, and we're paying tariffs on those. So I think the tariffs on any type of machine or automated system, robot arms specifically, coming into the United States should be exempt from any type of tariff.
At least for a certain time period, whether it's 5 years or something like that, because there are machine manufacturers here, and if those overseas manufacturers here want to start making their machines here, Grobe, they are a German company, but they have a fantastic facility in Bluffton, Ohio, that they make all of their universal machines here. So they're USA made. Mazak's the same way. So Japan, there are companies that are doing that right now. Personally, for me, I'd like to see an exemption on tariffs specifically for manufacturing purposes, for a 4-year time period, a time to where we can tool up, because we are starting to see a lot more onshoring here, but we need to make it affordable, cost effective, and available.
There's a huge need, and then the need is being kind of dampened right now with extra costs. So, and we're seeing companies that are waiting right?
Yes.
And it's always the, hey, let's wait and see type of a thing. And that's where we're lagging behind now.
Yes, and they're getting past, which is why robots here in the U.S. we've only went up 12,000 robots because everybody's like, we'll wait. Where we're just getting blown by the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Gotcha. It looks like Clay too in the Q&A wants to know what type of information you need from a manufacturer to act on an RFQ for these types of automations.
What type of information is needed in an RFQ?
Yes.
So really, again, it's those goals, right? You need to map out a current state of what your current numbers are today, and then really look at the goals associated with, you know, the plan of action, right? Well, I'm going to invest X amount of money, so I need to be able to write down those goals and have that in the RFQ timeline. Even one of the questions I ask up front is, what's the return on investment? What is, if you get asked many times to quote $1 million project that's going to take 20 years to pay back. I mean, nobody's going to buy it, right? So know the numbers, know what the goal is, know what your budget's going to be, and then go to an automation company that is good in that particular area, and go to 2, 3, but have the same information going to those 3 different companies, and if you can, even pay for some consulting up front,
Yes.
to be honest, because what you want to do is develop an RFQ to send the same RFQ with the same, looking for the same results, because a lot of times you're going to get 3 completely different proposals for 3 completely different systems. And then you make a decision based on price.
Yeah.
And price isn't always what you're after. You're after the quality, the results. You're after the ROI.
Yes, because certain automation systems, I'll use ours as an example. Our automation system, our average automation cycle time is 45 seconds. So if a competitor's average automation cycle time is a minute and a half,
load and unload of the machine.
That's just the automation cycle.
Right.
If their average is a minute and a half and your machine cycle time is 5 minutes, there's a big difference right there that is over the long run, over a 24-hour period. So really look at all the data you can. There's no bad data that is out there. So try and look at every aspect of it, of the automation.
And again, if anybody really wants to talk about automation and RFQs and get it through that, we have a lot more information that we can provide. Please reach out, and we'd be happy to talk to people, offline. After this.
Awesome. We do have some questions popping up in the chat as well. With the Robo Trex, can you pull out one of the carts while the other cart is in operation?
100%. Yeah, yes. It's a great system. They've thought of everything. It's all about productivity and spindle on time. So once when a cart is complete, you just request to enter. The system knows where it is in the process, whether the machine's running or not. If you request to enter, it's going to finish loading the machine, get the machine up and running, and then it'll give you a green light to say, okay, time to pull out your cart. Now, once you have the cart out of the system, you then hit resume, and when that machine cycle is complete, it's going to take from cart number 2 if cart number 1's out of the system, right? So yes, good question.
The beauty of that cart too is you have full access to up to 42 pallets right directly in front of you. So your operator is able to change out that raw material in each one of those vices all at the same time, rather than in a pallet changer type system. You're doing one at a time. That robot's calling. So the amount of time that's required and saved using this cart style system rather than a pallet changer system is pretty impressive.
And it looks like we have time for one more question.
Right.
So let's see. How would you approach a machine that may not yet be automation ready?
And we do talk about being able to load any old or new machine. The nice thing about the RoboTrex is you don't have to do an upgrade for pneumatic or hydraulic clamping, because everything happens through the automated system. The robot actually does the clamping and unclamping of the vise in the machine. There is an IO potentially that may need to be added. That we specify, and we give specifications for somebody looking for automation to go back to their machine provider. And a lot of those companies, technicians are able to come in, add maybe a small board or some additional IO, and then the communication becomes very seamless. And we've worked with dozens and dozens of different machines, and new or old, and they all end up working out in the end. So,
And even on the older machines, if all you're doing is just loading and unloading, and that's all you're taking, that's all that it's doing.
Simple go done signals.
It's all it could be.
We'll hardwire it.
Yes. So we could tap right into the actual start button. So once we were able to read something that provides an M30 codes or an end of cycle code, we'll just figure out how to read that. And then once we read that, our automation system can even manually open the door,
close the door,
and then go in, grab the vise, and then manually close it again. We could probably even have it touch the start button. So it could be, it could be pretty simple. Time out. Okay. Now we'll just tap into the start button. So we'll hardwire into that. But yeah,
Jake.
Appreciate it.
Awesome.
We're
Well,
out of time, so.
yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you to Lang Technik. Massive thank you also to Brian Butler, Michael Gamachet, and also the entire team at Metalcraft Automation Group who helped put this on today. So thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. Happy holidays to all of you.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless.
You can listen to all of our episodes of Manufacturing Matters and Lunch and Learn podcast from the MFG Radio Network on Spotify, Apple Music, and on our websites, todaysmedicaldevelopments.com, aerospacemanufacturinganddesign.com, defenseandmunitions.com, and evdesignandmanufacturing.com.